Assalamu alaikum. Tesla's price has run up quite a bit during 2020 and into 2021. In fact, Tesla's stock price is close to 10 times where it was in the beginning of 2020. Tesla currently has a market cap greater than $800 billion. It has a price to sales ratio of close to 30 and a price to earnings ratio of greater than 1,000. So naturally, the question that suggests itself here is it time to take some profits, or is there still a lot of upside here and we should hold on to our shares or buy even more? Put differently, is it time to hodl or time for some delicious tendies? Don't worry about what those words mean. Those are just very highly technical financial jargon. So to answer this question, buy, sell, or hold, let's revisit our thesis on Tesla. And before I start, I should mention my disclaimer, which is that everything I say here is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. Before I start with my investment thesis on Tesla, let me talk about my comfort level investing in Tesla from a halal and haram standpoint. First, looking at Tesla's revenue primarily comes from automobile sales and from energy generation and storage solutions. So no causes for discomfort here. And yes, I'm aware that Tesla does sometimes sell Tesla Tequila, but even though Tesla doesn't release exact numbers on how much it sells, I estimate revenue that Tesla generates from Tesla Tequila to represent less than 0.1% of Tesla's overall revenue. Now, as for Tesla's reliance on interest to run its business, it's pretty minimal. Interest income compared to revenue is almost non-existent. It's less than 1%. Interest expense compared to total expense is close to 2%. And this number is expected to decrease with time, especially considering that in Q4 of 2020, Tesla settled close to $2 billion in debt obligations that it had. As for the mission of Tesla, which is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable sources of energy, I really can't think of a company that has a mission that is more in line with Islamic principles than Tesla's mission is. The Quran and Sunnah are full of instances where we are encouraged to do a'mal or building our environment and encouraged to stand in the face of al-fasad wal-ifsad, or destruction of our environment and our surroundings. The Prophet, peace be upon him, goes so far as to say that even if the world was ending, if the day of resurrection was upon us, and in the hand of one of us was a young branch, that if that person was able to plant that young branch before the world ended, that person should indeed plant that branch. So given what I mentioned, I am comfortable investing in Tesla from a halal standpoint. Now let's talk about my investment thesis for Tesla and whether or not it is attractive enough given Tesla's seemingly expensive valuation. The global vehicle market is expected to register a compound annual growth rate of around 40% from 2020 to 2027. Tesla has a dominant share in the global EV market, standing at roughly 16% of the global market in 2020, more than twice as big as the second largest player in the market. Further still, the global market share of Tesla vehicles continues to grow. And I expect this trend to continue further as I see no other automobile manufacturing company expanding their production capacity at anywhere near the breakneck speed at which Tesla is. With more than $20 billion in cash and an $800 billion market cap, no other company in this space has nearly the same capacity to deploy and raise capital. In addition to everything I've said, Tesla has a very deep and wide moat around its auto business. And that moat consists of two primary components: its battery technology and its self-driving technology. Both of these technologies for Tesla are substantially more advanced than anything else on the market. As it relates to battery technology, Tesla has improved the design and manufacturing of these batteries, increasing range and reducing costs per unit of energy stored. If you look at the ranking of electric cars by range, you always see Tesla occupying all the top spots and by a rather wide margin. As it relates to autonomy, Tesla vehicles had driven a cumulative 3 billion autonomous miles as of April 2020, compared to rival Google's Waymo, which has driven just about 20 million miles. That's 150 times more data that Tesla has to use to improve its self-driving compared with the next player in the space. Considering Tesla has more than 1 million cars on the road, all gathering data for it, and Waymo has only 600, it's safe to assume that this difference has increased many-fold since it was last measured. This data is crucial because the more of it Tesla has, the quicker Tesla can improve its self-driving algorithm. So really, as it relates to self-driving, there really is no other player other than Tesla. Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, said this much in the last earnings call when he basically said he wasn't really sure who the second place in this race would go to. It's really quite a statement when you're so far ahead of your competition that you can't even make out who they are. The race for the dominant self-driving technology, in my opinion, is over, and Tesla won. Here's why self-driving is so important. When self-driving reaches level 5 autonomy, so that there's really no need for a human to intervene in the car's operations at all, then it becomes possible to add Teslas to a ride-sharing network, and this is what Tesla has expressed that it intends to do. So that when you're not using your Tesla can be used to deliver riders to where they want to go, and it can be generating revenue during this time. So that owners of Tesla no longer are just using their cars for an average of 12 hours per week. Now, with self-driving and the robotaxi network, they're getting 60 hours of usefulness from their cars. So the usefulness of the Tesla car goes from 12 hours per week to 60 hours per week. So it increases by a factor of 5. And when the usefulness of something increases by a factor of 5, the value of that thing increases by a factor of 5. Now, this brings us to Tesla's valuation. Perhaps what struck me the most about Tesla's most recent earnings call is the fact that Elon Musk, who many times has said that Tesla is overvalued, in this earnings call seemed to justify Tesla's current valuation. And he did so by performing the following pretty simple calculation. So he said, assume that Tesla generates $50 or $60 billion in automobile sales. And in 2020, as I mentioned, revenue for Tesla was close to $31 billion, and it's expected to increase every year for the foreseeable future at a rate of 50% every year. So $50 to $60 billion is not too far away. So he said, assume that Tesla generates $50 or $60 billion from selling cars. With the self-driving software and the revenue from robotaxis, Musk estimates that every $50 billion in automobile sales will generate an additional $50 billion in pure profit. Given this fact, and using a 20 times earning multiple, which is rather reasonable, you get at a valuation of $1 trillion. And here is perhaps the most crazy thing about everything that was said. And that is, this valuation of $1 trillion only accounts for Tesla's automobile business. It doesn't account for all of the other businesses that Tesla generates revenue from and will generate revenue from in the future. This includes Tesla's solar business, which is expected to dominate the market, and it includes Tesla's battery business, which could be just as big as Tesla's automotive business. And in addition to solar and energy storage, there are other ways in which Tesla will likely make a lot of money, such as licensing its full self-driving technology to other companies, Tesla insurance, and in-car entertainment when full self-driving is achieved. So this may sound crazy to some, but I actually think at $800 billion, Tesla may be a bargain. So I am not selling my Tesla shares. It is still hodl time for me. Tesla will remain a cornerstone of my investment portfolio, which I am continuing to invest in. I hope you found this video beneficial. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.